That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
You always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like. You always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like. You always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. As the big man has said there, people deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, in some cases, dependent on where you are on this earth, good night. I hope you're doing well and safe. Big up the Twitch gang. Appreciative to those of you on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing and smashing the like button. Make sure you're commenting and things like that. Now, primarily, I'm sure you all would have seen across social media, you know, Arsenal were linked with Ivan Toney and Javi Simmons and this guy and that guy. But in the last hour, you know, I would say it's all about Smith-Rowe to West Ham. Now, obviously, we're going to go over it. Some rumors appear more optimistic than none. We need to, you know, until we see him holding a West Ham shirt, who knows? But for me, I have a couple of questions over that. I would say the first one would be, if you are letting Smith-Rowe leave in some capacity, I don't know, but surely a midfielder's got to come in because we haven't got that many bodies. And obviously, I'm doing this stream probably when it's not kind to Mikel Arteta's press conference to get the full transcript. But he's even said it's touch and go with a lot of players going into the Palace game. Now, he could be playing coy, but we know injuries are a thing. Obviously, for Emile Smith-Rowe, obviously, to learn from David Moyes' experienced gaffer, to stay in London, West Ham are in Europe, they're a big club, they're an exciting club, you've got some great players to play with, it makes sense. But when you look at West Ham, you know, Paqueta's nursing a knock, they may sell Ben Rama. Are they trying to get a body in of their own? And how much football will you really play? You know, they typically got a free in midfield, and obviously everybody's of different profiles, but you've got Souček, Ward-Prowse, Edison Alvarez. Are you going to play ahead of them? You know, even Paqueta's played off the left-hand side on occasion at West Ham. So are you necessarily going to get game time? I mean, I think you have to back yourself. I believe in you and whatnot. It doesn't make sense to me unless we're selling Smith-Rowe. I think we've kind of gone past that loan stuff. I understand it. If he was to go to West Ham and get on like a house on fire, obviously, you know, you can make a lot more money. But I just think the way Smith-Rowe is nice, either you leave permanently or you do what you're doing here. So who knows really and truly. But yeah, let's get straight into it and see exactly what's being said. Now, initially, the first thing I saw was Fabrizio Romano. He said West Ham have approached Arsenal to discuss a loan deal for Emile Smith-Rowe, which if we're trading close to FFP, a loan fee of a couple of million, it might do us good, really. West Ham are also in talks to sign Calvin Phillips, allegedly. Talks taking place to understand if there's a way to structure a deal between the two clubs. Apparently, ex-West Ham United employee who's a Twitter account first called it, people. Team News and Ticks. Again, it's a battle of the in the nose because he responded to Fabrizio Romano's tweet and said 0 chance. Arsenal said no. Player wasn't interested anyways. You know, the person who initially broke the news, ex-West Ham United employee, he said, I don't think Arsenal or the player want the deal, sadly. So maybe that pours cold water on it. Again, we don't know, people. We're being taken around the house a bit disappointed because this is probably the most exciting sort of news regarding Arsenal in January, if I'm completely honest with you. The Guardian have said Arsenal are light on cover in attack and Mikel Arteta could be reluctant to let Smith-Rowe leave without a replacement coming in. Arsenal have resisted a previous attempt by West Ham to sign Reece Nelson on loan. Charles Watson said, my understanding on Smith-Rowe is his focus remains purely on Arsenal and trying to get into the starting 11. He doesn't want to go anywhere for now. He just wants to get his head down and try to impress. Obviously, what goes on between the clubs is out of his control. Again, people, West Ham have indeed registered an interest in signing Smith-Rowe on loan. Deal remains some way off, but is being discussed as reported by that account. Again, Sky Germany have even been getting involved, people. They've made it clear they want to keep the 23-year-old where Arsenal are concerned, and the deal has been described as incredibly unlikely. James Benge has offered his thoughts as well. Arteta's having his press conference as we speak, and apparently said, I'm really happy with Emile. He's in the right trajectory. He's settled really well. well. And you know I'm not going to talk about individual situations. And again, I don't know if Inda knows or anything, but this guy even said the main takeaway from Dubai, smash the like button, as per source, Smith-Rowe and Timber, wow. Smith-Rowe incredible in training. Timber looks like he never left and is definitely playing in February, bar an unforeseen setback. Now, I'll be wary of believing Twitter dons, but hope that is the case. The Athletic a few days ago said Smith-Rowe is not keen to leave Arsenal. They are his club and he feels more than good enough to play. His quiet confidence is not to be underestimated. But I'd imagine Smith-Rowe has about 2 more years left on his contract. He's 23, turning 24. Game time is something, you know, you've been capped 3 times for your club. I mean, your country. You've played 108 times for Arsenal Football Club, but only 73 times in the league. You would have imagined his initial trajectory, he would have rapidly closed in on 100. Currently, he's got 6 appearances in the Prem, which all totals around 116 minutes this season. And these are little man minutes, really. You know, one of the, you know, he got 22 minutes off the bench against Chelsea, where he did all right. Got 73 against Sheffield United, which was his first start, and then obviously had another setback. Got a minute in the North London derby. Got 9 against Bournemouth, and he did have an injury, as you can see at this period. Got a minute against Brighton. Got 11 against West Ham. And in the FA Cup, he got Emile Smith-Rowe got 2 minutes. I don't know what Mikel Arteta thought was going to happen, but he's been on the periphery of things. And then obviously you go back last season, which was an injury hit season for him, where he only managed 12 appearances, which amounted to 161 minutes. I would love Smith-Rowe to show his quality. I don't think he should go in Jan, but where the summer is concerned, we can't sell all of these homegrown players because we need registration purposes. But there's a decision to be made over Aaron Ramsdale, Emile Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, and Reece Nelson and people of that ilk. So it all depends where you read. Ben Jacobs has actually said people allegedly that Smith-Rowe's got interest from clubs abroad. He said, I'm also told that outside of the Premier League, there are a few clubs outside of the Premier League who have looked at Smith-Rowe, including Juventus and Roma. And in addition to that, there's some interest from Liga as well. Nice offline at the moment, and they want to strengthen in this position, but that would probably only happen in the summer. So make of that what you will, people. That appears to be Emile Smith-Rowe stuff. Again, let's close all of that, close all of that, close all of that. Don't forget, people, again, if you're looking for other content when this stream is finished, I did a video with Jessica Black of She Knows Arsenal, Alex of The Different Knock, shameless plug, a clock, people. Make sure you've got these on your viewers list. And obviously, big up Miles of Filthy Fellas, people. So there you have it. Before we carry on, what are you lot saying, people? 50 million for Smith-Rowe and call it a deal. I am open to generally, if he signed a new deal and went out on loan, show your quality, and then we can you might make it back at Arsenal, or we could sell you. That's what I kind of think with Eddie Nketiah. If you offer me 35 all the way to 40 odd kind of million for Eddie Nketiah, I'll bite your hand off for it. But I do think there is a reality, because Eddie Nketiah is on the contract, because he's been capped by England. We have Gabriel Jesus, we have another striker, Eddie Nketiah. Go out on loan, go and get 10, 15, 20 goals somewhere, and whatever we would have got if we sold you at this point, can we go and get more? It just feels for Smith-Rowe, it's touch and go. And it always feels like when the stars are starting to align for Smith-Rowe, there is another setback. You know, he was obviously injured, so he couldn't take advantage of Kai Havertz's form. I don't know why. I'd say Mikel Arteta currently doesn't trust Smith-Rowe or Reece Nelson, because when everybody's performing and everyone's doing their thing, great. But in the last couple of games, Saka and Martinelli haven't been doing the business. We know Saka is going to play week in, week out. Could Martinelli have been dropped out for Smith-Rowe, if we remember, Smith-Rowe made his name there? Really, could there have been a point where Odegaard went into the 8 and Smith-Rowe went into the 10? I don't know. I think Smith-Rowe will do good at West Ham, but if I was him, as I said, there's a lot to consider. Like, I would, you know, West Ham's a big club. They've won a European trophy. They got, I don't like to compare football support to religions, but borderline religious fans. You stay in London, different borough, but you stay in London. They've got some exciting players. You know, ballers always want to play with ballers. Smith-Rowe, a fit Smith-Rowe, apologies, with Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen. He's cooking. And you hear rumors that they're selling Ben Rama. Paqueta's got injuries. A couple of players got injuries. Is Smith-Rowe just coming in allegedly to be a body? Is Arteta is a question mark? I don't know what you're saying there, my dude, but big up yourself. So yeah, man, snap on loan, boost his money. I hear that little Ballo action. It could be the case. Juventus and Roma don't have the cash we would want for Smith-Rowe. I hear that. And to be honest, even obviously for obvious reasons, Smith-Rowe hasn't been doing the business he historically has, so his stock would be taking a falling. But if Smith-Rowe was in this position at another club, they're still going to ask for top whack for him, really. I love Smith-Rowe, but for his career's sake, I would go to West Ham on loan, because he will get some game time. Plus, he would suit West Ham because they have ballers like Kudus and Paqueta. Maybe learn a thing or two from them. I hear that. But then you could argue, you know, you're in a good place to learn a lot of stuff at Arsenal as well. But I hear you. Smith-Rowe should be like, nah, F South London. He's a proper North London. I hear it, but he needs to get game time. That would be East, technically. Do you want Mourinho as the new boss? Big up Jose Mourinho, but I don't think he's the right fit for Arsenal. If he joined Arsenal, then I would expect us to win a title. I know there would be a lot of player bust-ups and we'd go through a lot, but as long as he wins a trophy, who cares? But I don't think Jose Mourinho would ever be a manager for Arsenal Football Club. Allegedly, folks, Arsenal are keen on signing RB Leipzig attacker Javi Simmons. The 20-year-old attacker has done quite well since his move to the Bundesliga, and he has 6 goals and 9 assists to his name across all comps. Simmons will look to continue to impress during his loan spell at the German club, and Arsenal are keeping tabs on his situation. A report from Spain claimed that Arsenal have emerged as the favourites to sign him at the end of the season, and it'll be interesting to see if PSG are prepared to cash in on him. The talented young attacker is highly rated across Europe, and he has a big future ahead of him. He could develop into a top-class player with the right coaching and guidance, and you'd imagine he's a nailed-on fit for the Euro squad for the Netherlands, and he is versatile. He can play on both flanks. I think his future is in the middle of the park, and he's a baller, actually, but he's contracted until 2027. His stock is going to rise. PSG aren't a club that necessarily needs money. I don't know why he isn't in their kind of immediate thinking. I don't know why he's on loan, really, but yeah, there you have it. Smith-Rowe must cut, bro. He doesn't get enough minutes. He must flourish somewhere else. I'm in. I mean, if we get top dollar, but again, I would be more open to it in the summer because, again, if Arsenal have a plan, Smith-Rowe and this guy and that guy are leaving and we're addressing maybe striker out wide, I'd probably say where defense and central mid's concerned, then if it's a necessary evil, then fair enough. But there could be a reality. Smith-Rowe goes on loan and nothing comes into the club. We're already down to our bare bones, really. And Arsenal's injury stuff is quite volatile. You know, when players come back, our squad looks a bit better. But all this talk about it when Partey's back, Fabio Vieira's back, this guy's back, will be a lot stronger. Of course, it makes sense. There's every logic. But that's assuming they get fit, stay fit, and how many times a couple of players return from injury, couple of players get injured. This is the nature of the business, really and truly. So who knows? Arsenal and Spurs have been linked with Real Sociedad's Ander Berenicka, I can't say that name, but the 22-year-old Real Sociedad player, we've gone over him before. Apparently, they're about to, Spurs, unfortunately, sign Antonio Nusa from Club Brugge. Apparently, Tierney will be back at Arsenal as Real Sociedad are not interested in pursuing a permanent deal for him, people. And there's rumours they've been linked with, is it Miranda, former Barcelona academy grad on a free transfer. Tyrese John-Jules, it's been confirmed on Arsenal.com that, his loan spell at Derby will run until the end of the season. Big him up on that. We'll be keen to see where Mika Beref's going to go because he was linked with Sheffield Wednesday. Reports today have come out and said he could be set to go to Austria. We've been linked with technically loanee, the PSG striker Ramos. Apparently, we can make a move for him. I don't really believe that, really. There's a lot of red tape. Apparently, Benzema's entourage has confirmed he'll return to Saudi Arabia and confirm his commitments to his current employers. So that kind of kills any potential rumors of us signing him. Mika Beref obviously gave an interview. This is a bit irrelevant, folks, but he spoke about his future and he spoke about his loan. I think the most interesting thing of this, if I'm honest, is at the bottom where he seems quite realistic on his future. I mean, he turns 21 in early February. He's got 18 months left on his deal. Arsenal are likely to bring in a striker, and at present, you've got Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah in front of you. Arteta would probably use Martinelli, Kai Havertz, Trossard, and maybe I'm forgetting someone as strikers before him. And he's got 18 months. So hopefully, it's a bit sad, and I would love everyone to make it here. But if he could have a great loan spell and then you get offers in the summer and he cuts. I don't know if I was him, if I was Mika, if I would be in a rush to sign a new deal at Arsenal. He then said it would be any striker's dream to play for Arsenal in terms of quality they play with the chances they get. The one positive for Arsenal is that they can go into the market and buy someone for 100 million if they want to. It's probably not the biggest positive for academy players because it's really tough to get in there. But hopefully my performances keep improving and that can be me one day. I'm just doing what I can to put myself in the best position. Fair enough, man. I think that's real mature from him, really. I don't think anyone can have any disagreements. As we know, allegedly Arsenal are moving closer to agreeing new deals for Tomiyasu and Benjamin White. Once again, people, there's quite the race to sign Mika Beref between, Stuttgart in Austria, Sheffield Wednesday, and there's probably a whole bunch of other clubs. You got to feel it from Motherwell because that's probably messed up their plans. Ivan Toney is going to be playing at the weekend. Thomas Frank has said Ivan Toney will start. He'll also be our captain tomorrow. He's like an 8-year-old boy who just wants to go out and play. Pure joy of playing football, and all eyes will be on him. We've previously been linked with Sasha Boy, just in the terms of monitoring him. Sasha Boy is only for sale, therefore a loan deal is not a possibility, says Sky Germany about the French Galatasaray fullback. Newcastle are allegedly exploring the conditions of signing Everton's Onana. Now, haven't Newcastle got FFP issues as well. I only mention that because obviously Onana's probably been the last one of late that we've been aggressively linked with. Again, whether we sign these players is a completely different thing. So we'll see if there's anything else Arsenal related. I mean, Mikel Arteta is currently doing his press conference, and we'll speak about that when we can. What's this double raid? West Ham double raid. I bet he wants to bet me that Reece Nelson's name's mentioned. West Ham have inquired about the possibility of taking Smith-Rowe on an initial loan deal. We've heard that. Sources have stated the club have made inquiries to Arsenal over a deal for Smith-Rowe. David Moyes is a huge fan of the Englishman, who has been on the sidelines for a long period due to injury and falling out of Arteta's plans. West Ham have been tracking him for months. Arsenal are open to his exit on loan or permanently as they look to build for a bigger spree in the summer. The 23-year-old is also keen to try and resurrect his career, which has gone off track in recent years. Some sources tell Team Talk that an option to buy in a loan deal is possible, and that could be included in any deal of Arsenal said to be open to a full sale. However, a final fee is yet to be disclosed, and there's some skepticism about a deal from West Ham sources. We have heard before that Aston Villa have also been keen on Smith-Rowe and could yet make a move. So, I mean, if they could get Calvin Phillips, great, really, I guess, but doesn't appear that there's anything else where Arsenal's transfers are concerned, really and truly. What's this? Romano spoken about Zirkzee. Getting tired of seeing Zirkzee news, but for you lot, people, apparently he would like to stay in Italy, according to Fabrizio Romano. What has been said here? One of the key items on the agenda ahead of the summer is the centre forward position. Milan know that Olivier Giroud is thinking about trying something new and he likes MLS. He would like to go to the MLS. He would like to go to USA, sorry. It remains to be seen if there are teams that would want to sign him because right now they're just talks. As a result, Milan want to sign a forward and Zirkzee is on that list. It's true that Leo's Jonathan David is also on the list. Two players who have been linked with us. He's a profile that the board at Milan like. Fair enough. So the clubs will speak and Milan will try to work out whether they can do a deal for Zirkzee, including Salamanca's money plus Salamanca's. There are a lot of clubs following Zirkzee and his development, clubs in England too. And it's probably too soon to say with certainty what will happen. But in April or May, we'll see if they start talks with Bologna. One of the reasons Milan still see him as a possibility is that right now Zirkzee would like to stay in Italy. Obviously, this could change depending on offers that come in, but that's his position right now. Fair enough. And he's spoken about Bayern Munich. He said they'll also get money if Zirkzee is sold 50% of the transfer fee. Boy, so Bayern Munich got get 50% and also a sell-on clause. Well, a buyback clause. Crazy. Another player went on loan is Arjan Abramovich, who currently plays for Forestone. He could be sold this summer, but Bayern Munich will have a buyback option. I heard Man United and Arsenal are also interested in Zirkzee. If one of those clubs would buy him, Bayern will get 50% of the transfer fee. Of course, Bologna were doing some crap hustling there, innit? I would also inquire about Phillips. In principle, I wouldn't be against Phillips, but can that man stay fit? If he can't, then really and truly, what's the point? At this point, I want Smith-Rowe to move on and show the club how we effed up. Afternoon, DG, the greatest Arsenal correspondent. Now, I don't know about that, but I've got the greatest supporters in you lot. I've been saying that Smith-Rowe needs to move on, but I think if you sign Tony for free in the summer, it would be the transfer of the summer already, in my opinion. I don't think we can get him for free. You'd have to probably wait until the summer of 2025, assuming that, Ivan Toney doesn't sign a new deal. So we'll have to see. But on that note, though, people, probably my shortest live stream. There's literally nothing else to speak about. So I'm going to leave you lot. I'm going to get something to eat. And then I'm on Rance's stream on YouTube and I believe Twitch. So, yeah, you lot can catch me at 3 p.m. Again, tomorrow we kick off at 12:30. So I'll be doing a watch along from 11:30. And, yeah, go and check out the streams I did with the different knock, Miles, and obviously She Knows Arsenal people. But, yeah, you lot stay safe, stay blessed. That's all I've got to say. You lot know my thoughts. I'd love to keep Smith-Rowe. But on that note, peace.
There's always just that active red light defenders. I think it's like